Hey everyone, Ryan here, and today I thought I'd share with you a little bit about who I am and my background, how I got into real estate, how I got started, and why I decided to start this channel. After all, if you're watching my videos and smashing that like button, then chances are you'd like to know who I am and a little bit about me. Well, today I'm going to share a little bit about myself with you. So my name is Ryan, and by the time I was 20, I had a huge house on a lake, a Lambo, and I had made my first $1 billion. Just kidding, of course. Actually, the way I got started in real estate is a very interesting story. Now, back in about 2002, I was working on a job. It was a very manual labor job, and I ended up getting hurt. I went to the doctor and I found out I have 3 herniated discs in my back. After spending almost a year in physical therapy, day after day, going through all of that, I finally started to improve a little bit, but I never had surgery, and so I still have these 3 herniated discs in my back. So I thought, what am I going to do for a job? My physical therapist told me I shouldn't do any sort of physical labor. I should limit that as much as possible. So my old job was out of the question. So I flipped over the handy dandy newspaper. No, I didn't go online. I didn't go on Monster or any other website. I went to the newspaper. Opened up the newspaper. I saw an ad teaching people what it's like to become a real estate agent, how to become a real estate agent, and everything kind of in between. It was put on by a local brokerage with their principal broker. So I decided to go and take a look. Now this was a free presentation, took about an hour, and I learned a lot about becoming a real estate agent. So I figured since I had a little bit of money and I had nothing else going on, I would try it out. Now obviously I wasn't working, so I was able to buy a course online that would teach me how to become a real estate agent, and then I would have to go into a local college, take a test, pass or fail, and then I'd become an agent. So I buckled down, had nothing else going on like I said, hopped on the computer every day, spent hours upon hours, and smashed out this course. Then I went and took my test. Now when you go to the local college and take the test, they would mail you the results. You wouldn't find out for 2 to 3 weeks whether or not you passed. So I had to wait 2 to 3 weeks, found out I passed, then things began. I joined the brokerage that I went to the seminar with, and they started teaching me and training me. Now the one thing they don't train you, how do you get clients? You have to figure that out all on your own. Sure, they'll give you some tips, do some open house, do what's called floor time. So if someone walks into the brokerage or calls, you can help them find a house. But chances are that's not going to happen. Plus, you have no idea what you're doing. So when I got it started in real estate, there was a lot of struggles. The market was really good, but I was too new to really understand market conditions, that the market was good. I had no idea what was going on. Plus, I had just bought a house, had a child. Well, let's back up. I didn't have the child. His mom had him, obviously, but you get what I mean. So I was a new father in a new house, struggling in real estate. So I had to figure things out quickly. So what I did is I went to one of the top agents in the office, started talking with him, getting a little tips, figuring out how he got to be where he was, and he trained me on some things. Now, like I said, 2005 was a great year in real estate. There were a lot of new subdivisions opening up in my area, lots of builders doing their thing. There was a lot of activity. So this top agent worked with a builder, and so he let me sit in a new subdivision. Now this was a 30-lot subdivision. This was about the time the market was at its peak, and I thought, this is gonna make me so much money. I'm gonna be rich, driving that new car, having the big house, all these things. Well, what ended up happening was the market started to go down. There were several key factors, I won't go into that, but the market started going down. So here I am sitting in this 30-lot subdivision, not really many people coming in, and I'm thinking, what am I doing? All this big money and dreams that I thought was gonna happen, didn't happen. So because of this, I had to shift the focus of my business. Instead of going after these brand new houses and looking for the traditional buyer and seller, I had to do something different. So I switched and I went from doing that to working with investors, because at this time the market really started to tank, and if you know anything about 2008, you'll know what was going on around this time. There were a lot of what's called short sales, meaning you work with the bank and sell your house for less that's owed on it. There were a lot of flips, meaning people got their house foreclosed on, taken back by the bank. Then the bank would sell them to the next person just so they could get it off their books. Banks are not in the process of selling houses. They're in the process of lending money. That's just what they do. So they don't want these houses on their book. So what I started to do, started to network, started to find investors that were buying these cheap homes, fixing them up and either renting them out or reselling them. Now these deals primarily were the only deals I did for quite a few years. They were what carried me through the downtime when you saw a lot of lenders, you saw a lot of real estate agents, a lot of people getting out of the market. So I was able to make enough money to get through this period. Plus, I learned a lot about real estate investing, how to look at a house, see what it cash flows at, see what the return's gonna be, how much repairs cost, is it worth it to flip it, is it better to rent it? all these different things. So my knowledge started to grow from there, and it really opened my eyes to a different side of real estate. Now, one thing this did bring was a lot of investors that were new and didn't know a lot about investing in real estate. So literally their plan, they came to me and said, I want you to write an offer on every house that's a short sale right now. I want you to write it for half of the asking price. I wasn't too sure about this, but I thought, maybe we'll get some deals. Didn't think it would be as much work as it was. Well, it turns out I was putting in hundreds, and I mean hundreds of offers. I would spend 90% of my day just writing offers, filling out the paperwork on the computer, printing it out, having them sign it, sending all the stuff to the other agent. Out of those offers that I wrote, I probably got a percentage, a very small 1-2% approved. It just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth my time. So I stopped doing that fairly quickly. And I just told these investors, look, you're not being serious enough. You're wasting a lot of my time. I don't have time for it. If you want to go find an agent that will do it, fine. If not, let's figure out a better way to do this. Let's be smarter about this. We ended up parting ways, but I had enough real estate investors at the time that I was doing just fine. Plus, the market started to get a little bit better. So as we started to see the numbers improved, because I would watch the market numbers every single month when they come out. I would see what's going on. Are we seeing a lot of inventory on the market? Is inventory starting to slow down and be less? Because once inventory goes less, then that means the market's switching. It's going now back to more traditional buyers and sellers. More people are having confidence in the market. So once I saw this happening, I didn't lose my investor base, but I let them know what I saw coming. And I said, look, you're going to have to start to change your model too. You're going to have to go from buying short sales, buying foreclosures to something else. So as we started to see this market shift, the same guy that I was telling you about earlier in my office, the really big agent that I learned a lot from, he came to me and said, hey, I'm too busy. I have a bank coming to me and they want me to sell all their property. Now at this time, the market, like I said, was starting to shift. It wasn't back to normal and we weren't making huge gains to get to normal, but we were making slow gains. And it was enough months in a row that I felt confident that the market was going to shift eventually. It was just a matter of time. So this bank was ready to start unloading all their properties that they had collected because they weren't unloading them fast enough. They didn't have good enough systems in place to get rid of them. So they came to this top agent and they told him, hey, take care of all of our properties. So he started doing it, and very quickly he realized he didn't have the time or the resources to manage all of this. So he came to me and he said, hey, here's the opportunity. Would you like to handle it? I, of course, said yes, because I knew that in time, having all these properties were just free listings for us. I knew they would all eventually sell as I started to see the market come back, so I knew it was only a matter of time. So I took on these properties. They were in 8 states. There was over 100 properties, and I put together a system on how to manage all this, work with other agents, work with people to get the repairs done or not do the repairs depending on the property, and get them on the market and get them sold. Now, this was a very in-depth process, but I was able to track everything from A to Z at any time on any property. Always be able to tell anyone that asked me, where are we at on this property? I could give them an answer and I could tell them exactly what was going on with it, what was going to happen next, and then how long until it got on the market or got an offer or got sold. Now, because of this, I learned a lot about how banks work. I also learned a lot about the process of going through foreclosure, and I learned about the market. I learned how to keep a close eye on the market, what signs to look for to see if the market's going up, down, staying stable, if it's a buyer's market, if it's a seller's market, all those different things that you always hear on the news and the financial channels. I started to learn about that stuff when it came to real estate. Now, as time went on and the market continued to improve, one of my investors decided to start building homes. So I started to get into land deals. Now, we're not talking anything huge like the big subdivisions, but smaller land deals. We started to buy 1 lot here, 1 lot there, 2, 3 lots, 4 lots, and at the same time, all these bank-owned properties were starting to sell. I was making a lot of money quickly because we were selling 4, 5, 6, 7 properties a month. Plus I had some new construction stuff going on, so things were looking really good for me. I was doing really well in real estate. I was having my best years. But then one of the things that started happening, the bank was taking back less properties. On the properties they did have were selling, so our inventory was starting to dwindle. So once the bank saw this, they decided to get rid of us and just handle them in-house again. Well, now that I had proven myself to that top agent with all these bank-owned deals that we did, created the system, kept on top of everything, got everything closed, successful, networked with all these agents in 8 states and got everything done, he came to me and said, hey, I have an investor that's doing hundreds of deals a year. This guy has a lot of stuff going on, many different businesses. He's a really big investor client of mine. He wants to do some more subdivisions. If you can go find some land, he'll do the subdivision. So of course I set out. I had learned a little bit about land, what it takes to get a lot, get it developed, all that stuff. Started looking for land where subdivisions can be built on. Now, when building a subdivision and developing land, it's very, very tough. There's a lot that goes into it. A lot of city stuff, a lot of county stuff. You have zoning regulations. Where's the sewer? Where's the water? Where's the storm drain going to go? Where's power going to be? I mean, you just have all these different things that you have to think of. How much of this land is actually usable? Are there any habitat overlays? Any other kind of zoning overlays? So you learn a lot real quickly. You go through all this process. But we were able to get some land and do a few subdivision deals. Nothing huge, but some smaller ones. But again, it was all about learning more. I was constantly learning more in real estate. So then I got to a point where I said, okay, what's next for me? Where am I going to go from here? So one of the things that I started doing, because a lot of real estate agents do when they first start out to be successful, got on the phone, started cold calling people. Now, people I was cold calling were people that had signed up on a website saying, hey, we want to be talked to, we're interested in buying a house or selling a house. I would call them up, spend hours a day on the phone and talk to many different people. Now what this did is it allowed me to be better over the phone with people, be better at talking real estate, and help to solve people's problems. Because that's really what it was when you're an agent. What's your problem? How can I solve it? That's what I try to do with this channel. Try to come and see what are people's problems with real estate and how can I solve them? What are the big scary things when you go to buy a house or sell a house? How can I help solve that? Same thing for investors. If you're an investor, have a question, leave a comment. What kind of problem do you have? How can I help you solve it? So another part of the cold calling was meeting with people. I would do a lot of buyer presentations, a lot of seller presentations, let them know what's going on, how the process is going to work. Now, I was also doing presentations to these investors, but it was kind of on a different scale because when you're working with an investor, what do they want to know? How many lots can I get? What's my rate of return going to be? How much am I going to make for rent? If I flip it, how much can I turn around and sell it for? What's my profit margin going to be? They want to know all these different things. It's very numbers focused. When you're working with buyers and sellers, it's very emotional focused. You're emotionally attached to selling the house, buying the house. I had to learn quickly how to deal with investors, how to deal with regular buyers and sellers, just how to deal with the different categories of people that I was working with. So now that brings me to why did I want to make this channel? Well, the reason I want to make this channel is I want to share with you the knowledge that I do have. Like I said, I do have some real estate experience, and hopefully you can see that by listening to what I just blabbered on with for the last however many minutes it's been. But I want to share that with you. I want to help make your experience better. I have no skin in the game. I'm not going to make any money off of whatever agent you use or don't use, or if you do it yourself or don't do it yourself. I have no skin in the game. I'm just here to share the knowledge that I have with you because I saw a lot of people in real estate get hosed by agents. I'm not saying all agents are bad, they're scum, nothing like that. It just happens. Whatever job you work in, you have people that work good, people that just work, and then you have people that suck. It's the same thing with real estate. It's the same thing in any profession. I want to help you not find the people that suck and help you find the people that excel. That's why I'm doing this channel, is to help you learn those things so that you will go out there and have a good real estate transaction. Because to me, a lot of times it seems like people just pick an agent at random. They'll go into an open house, this person seems nice, oh, okay. What if it's their first day on the job? You have no idea. That's why you need to do the things that I teach so that you can find that agent that's good. The other thing is, I've worked with a lot of investors throughout the years, so I understand what it takes to do investor deals. So if you're an investor in real estate and you have questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Leave me a comment, let me know what you're interested in, and I can help you out with that. I've seen a lot of insides of the deals. I know how they work. I know the best way to put them together. I know how sellers think when you come to them and say, I want to buy your 40 acres of land. Sometimes they see a lot of dollar signs. I've been in those big deals that are a struggle because the seller thinks, my land is worth $10 million. No, half of your land is not usable. It's not my fault. It's because this is how it's been zoned by the city, the county. It's a habitat overlay for fish, even though the stream doesn't even run. There's crazy things like that happen all the time. So you've got to be able to explain to them why their house or land is worth X amount of money. So I can help you with that. So thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for smashing that like button. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it if you subscribe, share, do all those things that help me get more views and help to grow my channel so I can share this with more people. But I just wanted to give you a little insight into who I am and why you should watch my content. Take care.